now to the Roundtable, and on my right, but always a political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster and journalist, the great attorney and community servant, David Daggett. We held over from an earlier segment, is with us, and Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants, who's just back from a worldwide tour of helping folks, and we appreciate everything all three of you do. All right, guys, on a sad and serious note, everyone by now has heard about the male student at Parkland High School who slapped a female teacher in the face, not once, but twice. It was captured on video. If you want to watch it, that's fine. We're not going to show it here today. There are already rumblings about the fact that since the kid is not yet 18, he might go through the juvenile court system. My question to you guys are, in situations like this, when a violent crime and assault happens on a teacher, should a high school kid go through adult, be tried as an adult, go to adult prison, Ogie?
You know, last week we talked about minor offenses.
Minor offenses.
This is not a minor offense. That is a violent offense. And I think if the kid, well, at the very least, he's got to go to juvie. But I wouldn't have a problem trying him as an adult.
David.
Yeah, so he is a juvenile now. And under the current North Carolina statutes, there is not an option to try him as an adult for a misdemeanor offense. The charges against him are misdemeanors. They have to be felonies for the prosecutors to petition to try him as an adult.
How can that not be a felony, though, David, of hitting a teacher in the head twice?
That's a prosecutor's decision on what the charge is. The situation's terrible.
Yeah.
Should there be punishment? Absolutely. Under our current framework, it's a juvenile manner. Now, we hope this kid gets help and we can rehabilitate him.
You think it should be a juvenile matter?
It looked like a felony assault to me.
Yeah.
He definitely shouldn't be in school anymore, or alternative school. He definitely has to get help, but you cannot assault teachers in any form or fashion in that manner.
Yeah, you used to help kids that were troubled.
You just can't do it. It's terrible. That was terrible.
Yeah. All right, despite various efforts to promote diversity in schools, Forsyth County's now looking at, they're saying it's a problem because the schools are economically segregated, meaning most schools enroll students in the same income bracket. So now they got $1 million grant. They're going to try to figure out what they can do to abate that. But guys, given the fact that parents have their own choice of where they want to send somebody, will we ever fully integrate schools racially and economically? Ogie.
How long have we been trying to do that, Jim?
50, 60 years.
I admit I don't have an answer. I'm looking forward to see if this grant does anything toward that end.
David.
At one point, we were more integrated. Then we went back to neighborhood schools and school choice.
Right.
And I think we've done a little backsliding recently. We've got a lot to improve upon. Keith might have better insight.
Let's start with $1 million. $1 million is not going to get schools integrated. Let's start right there. You're going to have to create economic environment by pouring money into these poor performing schools in these neighborhoods.
Individual schools.
And it's not going to be $1 million, I can tell you, because in those other schools, there's parents give way more than that in the booster club.
Yeah.
Let's start right there.
Yeah. All right, last week, a transgender male entered the women's locker room at a Planet Fitness in Gastonia and exposed himself to an underage girl. The man was arrested, but Planet Fitness restated its policy of allowing trans males to use the women's locker room. Guys, would you want your wife or daughter sharing a locker room with a biological male, Ogie?
You know, here we go again, bathroom bill, part 2. I wish the guy or the girl or the trans person had used a little discretion about how he went about taking a shower or whatever.
David.
I don't know this, and I don't know if this was an intentional act. I think it was. I am familiar with girls' locker rooms, not through being there myself, but because I've been on boards of organizations that have different locker rooms. And female locker rooms, typically, there's not an area for, quote, exposure unless the exposure is intentional. And it doesn't matter if you're male, female, trans,
but are you
whatever.
you favor this or not?
I think that needs to evolve. I think society's trying to figure that out.
Keith.
I think unless you surgically are it in that way, I don't think that you should be in the women's bathroom. I think there has to be an alternative bathroom, but I just don't see how you can put a person who's genetically the same way as a male in a female's bathroom.
All right. Finally, guys, on a whole different thing, advice columnist Eric Etten says that after going out on a first date, men often get turned down when asking for a second date, and she advises both sexes on how to handle rejection. Guys, were you ever turned down for a second date, Ogie?
Many times. I've been turned down first, second date, third date. You just got to let it roll off and take your shot and go to the next.
David, you ever been turned down for a second date?
Yeah, they would meet me and they'd say, "You're not like Ogie." I would rather date Ogie. And that's what happened to me.
Keith, have you ever been turned down for a second date?
I can't say that I have.
No, man, I knew.
I really can't say. I've turned down people on the second date.
Yeah,
but I can't
okay.
say that. I can't even remember to being
Yeah,
turned
we're renaming this show from Triad Today to The Liars. That's what we're doing. All right. Well, that's all the time we have.